right, hey, good morning, folks. Let's see where we are at online, if we're present and active. It's still showing a loading screen here, so I'm going to just do some social media postings that I'm up and running until that clicks through. I'll have the refresh button here to see where that's at. Refresh button here to see where that's at. Hey, okay, cool. Sounds like I'm coming through finally. All right. Let's check out. Sounds like I'm coming through. Sounds fantastic. Let me drop that down here to silence. I will grab my social media posts here and regale you with my origin story as I proceed. So, hey, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, and I publish them online, and I've been running games in D&D since 1987. I've been using Eberron as my homebrew campaign of choice since 2006, and I've been creating content on the DMsGuild since 2017, but I have yet to publish an actual adventure, so that is what we are in the process of building here. What you can see on screen here is the cover to the adventure that we're referring to, Crystals of Mabar. It's for 4 to 5 characters of level 7 to 8, mainly themed around fighting necromancers and undead in the Carnwood of Carnath on the continent of Corvair. So have at it. I'm just kicking the social medias here really fast. But we've been creating this book cover that you can see. We created this back around, episode 40 of this 316 episode stream. So I'm almost done with my social kick, and then we'll get to work. So we've been creating NPC tokens. Yeah, and those are we've been doing the line art for them. We have black and white, low cost printing for like laser printers, and we have color for VTT usage and in document. It's cool. Okay, we're done. So let's get out of that. Go over to here. Let's switch this around to here to here. This is my Twitter profile. I'm at Phil Kearney. If you're on the X Twitter platform, you can join me here at Phil Kearney to see illustrations, coupons, notifications when I go live. Here on YouTube itself, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notifications of when I am live in the future. Here is the full playlist of all 316 episodes of us creating all the maps, tokens, and artwork for the book. Again, the cover was created around episode 40. And we are now in the process of creating NPC tokens for the village that the team visits. Hey, let me just draw your attention to some of the books I've created on DMsGuild. Spelljammer Combat and Exploration is a deep dive on mechanics and for both combat and exploration, pillars of play in the Spelljammer multiverse. 5-color mana spell point variant rules converts the 8 schools of magic and spell slots into a 5-color magic system using mana. Instead, a mana spell points, which is a modified spell point system to replace spell slots. Spell Point Warlocks is 1 sale away from gold medal status, and it's $1. If you want to spend at least $1 on that pay what you want product, it will be my first gold medal status, and it would be a hell of a feather in my cap. Pacts and patrons complement Spell Point Warlocks and color mana by presenting all of the otherworldly patrons of the Ravnica setting, all 10 as alternate otherworldly patrons that your warlock can form a pact with. Thus, the guild pact is formed, and your warlock becomes a guild mage for their chosen guild. And then Theurgy is ability check casting. Anyone can cast 9th level spells, but will you survive the experience? So check that stuff out if you're interested. We're going to dive back in here, and I need to clean up the artwork on this just a touch, and then we're going to get into color. So I'm going to drop down the opacity here real quick, jump onto there, get our... I just want to smooth this out a little bit because there's the black and white versions and then there's the color versions. The black and white versions are just the line art that we're doing here. So I want to make sure it's clean and looks good. And then once we have that taken care of, we're going to start pulling color palette from online samples and proceed from there. There. Oh, Keith Baker's new Threshold Wild West supplement for Eberron is released today on the DMs Guild. I will pick that up. Maybe I'll spend a little time reviewing it. Who knows? I've never done a review video. Maybe I should. Get that line to curve out just like that. Good. There. Controlling hair and items and interaction. Layering is a is a concern. Now I want to make sure that if the line that I'm putting, if it's hair in the environment, I want the hair to overlap the structure of like the skin line. Or hey, how you doing? Saz X D&D and MC. Oh, I think you've been around before, haven't you? I'm sorry if I don't recognize names offhand. It's people come and go, and I don't, and no, it's very rare that everyone uses the exact same call signs on all their social medias. So if you've been here before, God bless. If this is your first time here, well met. So we're gonna go like that, and these are NPC tokens for the Eberron Adventure that I'll be publishing on the DMsGuild. I do line art so that it's low cost laser printing for all the assets, and then once that's complete, we colorize everything. Colorize, just color. Just use the word color, Bernie. I'm having an issue with this curve. Hold on, this is a challenge for me. Tracing is hard. There we go. Tracer's a difficult gig. Hey, what's up? Yeah. Oh, yeah, right. It was like last week, right? So the 2024 book is going to be on D&D Beyond, and I use D&D Beyond for my referencing when I'm doing development work. So now that well, it's not officially. I'm not a subscribing member of D&D Beyond, so I didn't get early access to it. I use Roll20. I've got about 7,000 hours of DM time logged in on Roll20, and then Roll20 is a proprietary asset of One Bookshelf that oversees the DMsGuild. So it's pretty natural that that's where my main venue of releasing content is. That I would use that as my virtual tabletop, and I have for the past 13 years now. So I don't have early access to the new rule set, but that should be out in the wild since it's here since they're here in Seattle. They generally use PST, and I think it'll be I think it's 9 a.m., 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. this morning that they'll release it. It's like in an hour or so. It'll be out in the wild. So we'll begin the conversion process for the entire Magic the Gathering color mana spell point system that I developed. We're going to rebuild all of those books to be compliant with the new 2024 rules. We'll also I've paused playtesting for the Martial Power system so that we can go through that updating process for all the classes and make sure that the new technical language for object interaction, like action economy and stuff like that we have that all resolved. And we've taken into account like the new grappling mechanics and stuff like that as well. So there's going to be some retooling, and I really like. I'm not necessarily. I mean, to be honest, I'm not necessarily a fan of the changes that they've made for 2024 compared to 2014 overall, but all of the changes that they've made makes the stuff that I built better. So even if I, as a DM, don't necessarily appreciate the changes, as a designer, I absolutely do, which is ironic. When I play test stuff, I play raw, which is rules as written, so that the game, so the testing that I do for the stuff that I create is as authentic and functioning as one would expect. When you're playtesting new rules, you want to use the rules that actually exist inside of the game, not house rules that stack on top of house rules that stack on top of house rules, because you get a skewed result of the quality of content that you're actually producing. So you want to build stuff and play it raw. And then once the thing works, if you want to import it into your game and start applying things like Nimble or whatever it is that you're doing, or advanced 5e or whatever, you are able, obviously you're able to do so whenever you want. But as a designer myself, personally, I have to make sure that it works as intended with the rule set you have to assume your audience is going to be utilizing. Pardon the pun. And so once you're good, then basically at that point you're solid. And if what you create doesn't jive with someone else's homebrew, that's nobody's fault. Neither designer's fault or the game system's the fault, because you are attempting to blend homebrew with homebrew, and you know, results may vary. So, but I like to keep that stuff in mind. Here to here. There. Hey, what's up? Now, the one thing I hate with the new D&D is counterspell, and if I go to new D&D, I will keep old counterspell, because as a DM, I need old counterspell just as a backup against the players. That's actually a really great point. I perfectly fine. I think that's totally legit. One of the solutions that I have for the magic system that I have, since everything is using a spell points, you have basically a hit point pile of mana that you can use as a resource to trigger different effects. So my counter to the counter spell rules is warding. If you're an MTG enthusiast, you probably are already familiar with the term ward, which is a defense effect that some cards have in the game, where if you want to target them with an effect, you have to pay an additional cost. So you can have DMs specifically can ward their creatures or enchantments or whatever it is that they're utilizing in the game, so that a team has to pay extra mana or another resource like hit points, hit dice, degrees of exhaustion, or other conditions, just for the privilege of attempting to target that creature. So like Niv Mizzet, for example, if somebody wanted to try to counter Niv Mizzet casting a spell, you would have to spend an additional 3 mana just to make the target stick. If you're not willing to spend the extra 3 mana, and it's a kicker cost, it doesn't actually upcast the spell, it's just extra you have to spend. So they would then have the ability to attempt targeting Niv Mizzet with a counter spell, which would then be able to use a legendary reaction to automatically succeed the check. So not only do you have to burn through legendary reactions to make a counter spell stick, but there is also the issue of I have to pay extra every time I want to target Niv at all. If I want to hit him with a cantrip, spend 3 mana. If I want to hit him with a 9th level spell, spend 3 more mana. This is it's a defensive ward. More physical creatures could have you can target this creature, but it's going to cost you a hit die. If you're out of hit dice, take damage just to attempt to attack them, for instance. So warding is a really fun effect that doesn't prevent a player from doing what they want, but they build in that depreciation okay. So just to step back real quick from where this is coming from is, as a DM myself, I find that players want to use the features that they have because it's part of their fantasy of who they are, right? But if the mechanics that character has is taking away the fun of the DM, then what value is it actually bringing to the table if the DM isn't going to appreciate making use of them? So the DM's job isn't to defeat the players, it's to beat them up. The analogy I use most often is if you're playing fetch with a dog, right? The dog loves it when you throw the ball or whatever, and it can run off, it can go grab it, and then it brings it back to you. And if it wants you to throw the ball again, it just drops the ball. If it wants to play with you, it keeps the ball in its mouth, and then you have to grab the ball, and then you have to try to wrestle it out of the mouth. And it's like, because the dog wants to wrestle. That's how a dog wrestles, by clasping something in its maw, and then you trying to pull it out. So that is fun for the dog. Plus, it pulls on its teeth. It makes its grip stronger. It's healthy for a dog to wrestle like that. And that act of wrestling, it doesn't want to keep the ball. I mean, the roots of this behavior is in keeping their own food. But when they trust you as their companion, they're going to let you take the ball out of their mouth. But they want to wrestle with you for it first. It's that process of wrestling before they eventually give it up. That's kind of the thing that the DM and the players do. The players want to get beat up while they're attempting to win. And it's unfair when they have no chance of winning, or nothing they do can stick. So instead of creating shutdown effects of I'm going to deny you access of doing this, one approach, the philosophy that I like to embrace is I'm going to let you do whatever you want, but it is going to cost you. Do you want to pay that price? And sometimes the answer is going to be no, I don't want to pay that price. Like, I don't have enough mana to throw a shitload of stuff at Niv if I'm in a fight with him. It's going to take my whole wad just to try to survive the fight in the first place. Like, you didn't budget for the ward. So it's like, we really need to reconsider what our tactics are. Or if you do your research on boss fights, it's like, it's known this guy has a ward effect on him. You're going to have to take that into account. So like, maybe you bring extra power stones to pay that price for you by burning through your mana pool. There's different ways to approach it. So, but the idea that you have abilities, they can stick, but are you willing to pay the price? And if you are, then you've spent extra resources for the right to use your ability. It's a different approach. And again, you can use hit dice, you can use your mana, but when all characters are utilizing the same resource system, and in this instance, it's just mana, used to use powers, spells, to refresh abilities that have been spent. Burning through that mana pool creates a new hit point style resource for using abilities, and it's just a different philosophy that you can keep in your toolkit. So when you want to look at like what's things that my team likes to do, and are they sour that they can't make use of them, what can we do to compensate for that? This is a method to do that. So wording is something that I've really taken an interest in lately, and has been working well in my games for the past couple of years. So I will be adding, that's an example of one of the things that I get to add to the Color Mana toolkit in the core mechanics book once I rebuild it. So we'll be going through all that stuff, rebuilding all the classes, and updating mana progressions, and the color identities to be multicolor. The expanded list that I have as a pay what you want is going to get integrated into the core mechanics itself. So I'll be able to keep the revised spell list is just. It's a pay what you want document. So if you pick up the bundle, if you grab the pay what you want stuff first, it makes the whole bundle less expensive. Like, you get discounts by bundling things together, and by bundling pay what you want stuff in with books that have like a hard cost. You can effectively create a coupon by giving somebody pay what you want stuff that they can then use to buy into the bundle. Like, get 25. Like in my instance, like if you buy my full bundle, everything, if you pay for everything, it's like 30% off. But if you get all the pay what you want stuff for free, it drops the cost basically 50%. So like 48 point something percent. It's pretty strong. So I love making pay what you want loss leaders like that allow us to give the audience a bunch of value for free as basically as an act of camaraderie to your audience, and then ask for payment for the larger pieces that you put out. So I do that with the color mana system that we're looking at. I'm currently in developing additional side products for Spelljammer that'll act the same way. It's a fun philosophy. I like that, and it encourages me to build books that continue to expand in scope without necessarily overburdening the cost of doing so for anyone that's interested in it. I don't know, I'm rambling a little bit. Don't mind me. Here, get that. Hey, all right, we finished. Oh wait, smoke. I'll check out I see text over there. Hold on real quick. Get that there, and here we'll start coloring next. Trim that down to a chisel. Trim that down. Nice and clean. Nice and clean. Good shit. Hey, what's up? It's a cool time. Yeah, it's just a tool. It's anything that I provide. Like, oops, I forgot to connect the back of his hat. There we go. Yeah, that's the cool thing about the 5e system in general, or what was cool about 3e as well, is how unified everything is. It's so modular that you can basically clip on subsystems as like this mana system replacing spell points or replacing spell slots. It's a clip-on system that has basic functionality the same as what you're used to, but it alters the way that you make use of it. So, like the ability check systems that I use on a scale of 1 to 10, with bounded accuracy as a scale from 1 to 31, with things ramping up on a scale of like 0 difficulty is a 0, so you need a 1 or better to succeed. A difficulty of 4 times 3 is 12. You need to beat a 12 like a 13 or better. On a difficulty of 1 to 10, a scale of 10 is a 30, so you have to roll a 31 or better. So you can I run entire games off of just ability checks using that scaling level of difficulty. Depending on how strong the characters are, basically sets the difficulty. So I can run as much of an encounter or an entire adventure, combat, exploration, social encounters, just simply scaling on a scale of 1 to 10. How difficult is what they're attempting to achieve right now? Make an ability check. And you can go through an entire 5e, you can go through an entire D&D campaign just that way. I've been running D&D on just ability checks in my Spelljammer Eberron game for the past, since February. So it's, the 5e game system is more versatile than any other version of D&D, basically ever. I mean, I ran every version of D&D there is. Although 4th edition, I played Gamma World, but it was the same game engine. It was still the 4E game engine. It was just a sci-fi setting instead of fantasy. It's just I like 4E as fantasy more than fantasy, because of just the way that it's structured. It feels more like a computer game, which is the common complaint. But when you shift it into a sci-fi narrative, it actually feels pretty good. So I would, anyone that's ever been interested in 4E, I actually recommend the Gamma World game more so than D&D. It's the exact same flavor, but it's a lot more chaotic. It's a lot of fun. It's a very gonzo style. 4E actually feels a lot more like Beckme, like the original D&D or the original Gamma World, than what 4E feels like D&D. It's pretty impressive. I just don't think it was marketed well. There, and there, and okay, cool. This guy's good. So we're gonna hit save there, and we have our trash. I'm now going to make this black white there, and add add in color here. So let's go fetch. Let's go online and fetch some color stuff. Let's go with Wild West Sheriff. And see if there's some color palettes that we like. Yeehaw. That's not bad. I kind of like this one. Crypto Sheriff. Yeah, I kind of like the lighting on that one. So I'm going to, let's open that image in a new tab. When you're colorblind, you don't see any like I don't. The way that we can color is, free transform, is by importing images into Photoshop and then just doing color referencing by using the eyedrop tool. So I'm going to drop this guy down to here. I'm not sure if it's the right color palette or not, so let me take a look at, I'm going to use the eyedropper tool here. You can see over here in the upper right hand corner, right over yonder, you can see the RGB things sliding around as I dance across the different colors. This all has the same reddish saturation, so that's telling me that there's probably some sort of color filter that's been put on this. Like absolutely none of this. Here's like the only instance I can see offhand where blue is overclocking green, and there's too much reddish. I mean, it's a lot of gray tan stuff, but like even the star has that same sliding effect like this for RGB, right? That's not good. I need to not have that. So that's not a good color reference. As much as I like the separation of colors, it doesn't read well. So I need to skip past that one. Don't necessarily like that color palette. This might not be the right direction to go in. So, but let's open this one up and see if I like that color palette better. Open image. Copy. Free transform. Get this back on screen. That's a good variety. I think this is probably going to be a better range. So give me a hot second here to get this guy. Again, keep an eye on our RGB up in the corner. A lot of gray tone through here. Saturation is really low. That's strong. I like that. Very gray tone there. This has got some elements that I like. What's up? Yeah. Yeah. With a bit of silver. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good separation, so I'm going to drop that one also. Sometimes it's a little bit of a guesswork that we got going here, but we'll find it. We'll find it. That's got too much. Ooh, yeah. This is actual photos. I bet this is gonna end up being good. Let's go with open image. I mean, you can't really go wrong. Clint Eastwood. So copy. I don't need a large array of color, but I want the RGB to be bouncing back and forth, so there is variety. I'm gonna drop this down to about here. That's a good place for us to start. Generally, photographs can be reliable. I can tell that there's no weird saturation or filtering going on here. This though might. This is older, so it might not have. No, this has got some. Doesn't have a lot of variety. So the Clint. I'm gonna just cut that one out because that one doesn't feel right. But between these two dudes, let's double check here real quick. Has kind of a bluish tan. Skin looks good. Skin looks good. I'm fine with that beard color. Rope is fine. Still a little color is all over the place here in terms of RBG. Yeah, it's got more variety, which is what I want. But I'm just looking for, I think I can get away with this. There, and yeah, let's go with this one. All right, so we'll build layers. First thing we're gonna do is throw down some skin. So we have shade there, we have here. I'm gonna go with I like the there's more of a reddish spike here as opposed to over here. It's more sunlit, so it's nah. We'll go here as our base. Here's a base, here's a highlight, and here's a shadow. Highlight, shadow. And then a base. So we'll grab the base. Color goes on. It's just comic book style. We're gonna put the skin underneath everything else. So skin goes first, and then we'll layer up. We'll just layer as things go. So this is just me filling in the gaps. I get a real ruddy feel. I mean, dwarves are dwarves, right? So they should have a ruddiness to them. And I think that's the color that we're pulling here. That's the skin here. Skin layer, and then we'll go to let's get some fur on his face. I can tell these are different because I have them on separate layers, right? Skin tone, I have my color palette over here in the left-hand corner. And then for the beard, I have another palette here. So let's add this back in. Let's find highlight and mid-tone. I know Jeff Bridges there is old, so he's graying out, but I am perfectly okay with that. Here. Nah, I like that wiggle better. We'll go with that. There we go. Add this back in. We'll drop this in here. How is that? Ugh, that is virtually identical, so that's actually not good. I need little a lighter color than that. All right, this will do. It's not a lot of separation, so I'm going to lean into highlights on the beard and shadow on the skin to help define the difference between those two better. We'll go skin, and then we'll go, how are we looking on time? 7:30? Cool. Beard. We will not finish coloring this today, but we may be able to get the flats taken care of. Let's see, beard, and then let's do a hair layer. Cool. And now let's see. We'll go with this for the undershirt. Thank you, timer. We got 20 minutes left for this morning. We'll keep at it. Shirt. I'm actually going to drop the shirt in underneath the beard over the skin like this. There's a lot of same going on inside here. Let's actually drop it underneath this. Drop it underneath the skin all the way to the bottom. I'm just going to fill this in like that. Nope, that's the cuff sleeve there. Here we go. Shirt's inside here. Like that. We'll clean up the line art for the skin here. Here. That feels pretty good. There like that. Saz, are you actually in a game? Do you run games yourself, or are you participating in any campaigns right now? I don't know if you're still around or not. I'm just making conversation. Smear that down into there to fade into his chops on the beard. And on the beard, I'm going to fade those up into his sideburns. Like that. There. So they cross blend over each other. So far so good. So far so good. So far so good. Bop, bop, bop. Let's go back to here. Yeah. Hey, right on. You're running a political campaign every Sunday with your home. Oh, no shit. Oh, that's awesome, dude. What a great place to meet up, too. That's awesome. What game system are you using? Most people don't think D&D when you say political intrigue campaigns. That feels good there. Good connection. Good connection. Good connection. Let's see. So we have, I need leather. We have banding here. We have metal bits here and here. We've got some pauldrons here. Hair, beard, skin. Skin will be on top, beard on top, hair on top. So here is a good place for us to be. Yeah, use right on. Is a homebrew setting world that you're using, or are you? Is it a pre-built campaign that you're modifying for whatever your storyline is? Let's go bibs and bobs. Let's call it bibs and bobs. Go to here. Nice buttons. Oof, I need to punch up the saturation on that. It's too low. Just gonna spike that a bit. It's not enough. It's not enough. Let's drift over to the other dude and see what kind of things we can find here. I don't know what this is. It seems like it's a spyglass of some sort, but nah, not what I need. Interesting yellow, little sparky yellow down here. Not sure what that is. Gold? Yep, it's got that gold star effect. Well, gold star is a good place to start. Text. I spy with my eye something that is text. You know? Revolves around. Nice. Country where the kings died. Nice. And a dragon attack. So, oh wow. Dispute. Oh, that's fantastic. The signals are funding both sides of the case. Sure, of course. To prevent new king players from getting through. Nice. And the same players. I love it. That's fantastic. And I love when the actions of one campaign impact and color the next. That's just fun design. I've done that in multiple campaigns. Like have the lasting consequences of their last action form what the next campaign is going to be about. I'm big fan, big fan of that process. Nice, well done. So we got the star. That's base star color there, and let's pull in some shadow here. Darker shadow there. Okay, good enough for the star. Let's go with the duster, because that's going to be another large effect. So we can put that underneath the skin. We'll go with duster. And then we'll see about having like the leather armor bits over the duster. So we'll go with this lighter color here. And there's our highlight. I'm going to push that highlight up a bit. Good. There, duster equals go. It's going to cover the whole thing, and then we're going to differentiate the pauldron armor. Not a lot of separation in the shirt and the duster color. So we'll have to differentiate those with highlights. There won't be much highlights inside this space, but this external space will have more highlights. So that's how we can differentiate between the two. Not like this. Sure. Ooh, you probably see the difference between the bluishness on the duster and the tan or brownish of the undergarment, but I don't. They are the identical. They are the exact same level of gray. So I have to pay particular attention to that and make sure that I create a lot of contrast. For, like I was saying, the interior being more shaded versus the outside being more highlighted. I'll need to have that for me personally to be able to identify the differences. Yeah, that makes a difference there. There we go. Hey, what's up? Yeah. Of course, absolutely. Like if you look at high quality black and white, like modern day, like films, modern day films that go into black and white, with the high quality film or digital recording that they're doing, Actually, the movie Civil War that came out. It's now on Max. It's actually a pretty good film. It's about a civil war breaking out in America, but it basically follows some photojournalists around that are trying to get footage of what's happening in the war for newsworthiness. And what the? Get out of here! No one asked for that. And so it switches between three different types of filmography. It has a normal cinematic film quality. It has a high saturation level, and then it has actual just like photos, like snapshots that like the photojournalists are taking of the scene. And I can't tell the difference between any of them. But my gal was watching it with me, and she's like, you can't see this, but there's a high difference. Like she was explaining the difference in color saturation that was being presented through the film, and I can't see any of it, but it was fascinating. So it's worth your time to take a look at it. And the God, was it? I want to say it was The Lone Ranger with Johnny Depp and Armie Hammer. I think they had black and white as well as color instances, and I couldn't tell the difference between the two at all. So it's really interesting. Like color blindness doesn't matter until it matters. Like you don't notice it until you notice that it can't be noticed. It's kind of weird language I'm using there, but yeah. Duster, good. Shirt underneath. We're gonna go with a hat next. Hat. And yeah, we're gonna go with this one. Dark, moderate. Dark, moderate, and then we'll go with a highlight. Hat, beard, skin. Hat goes under a star, duster goes under star, duster goes under hat, there. And then all of that is underneath hair, beard, fur, blah. And I don't see much difference in tone between the hair and this hat currently. Like this and that seem the same to me, but there's obviously a saturation difference that this tannedness is manufactured, I guess that's the right word. It's a designed color as opposed to natural flesh or the natural tones on the character. So that's cool. We'll go with that. We're going to end up doing a different buckle, like for the leather that goes across the hat and the straps down here. We'll go with a different color for that as well. Probably matching the pauldrons, a leather. I'm thinking about that saddle on Jeff Bridges' horse to be straps and buckles. Do star. We're gonna go with straps, and we'll go with leather. Let's call it leather. And we'll go back up here to this saddle here is what I'm thinking about. These straps here. Here's the mid-tone. Dark. Mid. I'm going to go with dark. I'm just going to go with the dark layer to start creating some contrast in here. So drop that into here. And once these are in the comic book industry, these are what are known as flats. We're just placing block color, flat colors into the piece, and then we'll come back and we'll do highlights with them. Don't think I actually need. I like how it breaks up. Here, get rid of that. Get rid of the color layer real quick. I kind of like these lines going through like that, but let's see what happens if I get rid of them. Yeah, everything's fine, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of them. There. Other. Something. There it is. Yeah, that fixed it. Okay, cool. Back to the leather. Let's see. We're going to do the pauldrons and shoulder guards. Oh shit, am I out of time? 7:50. Okay, I'll finish up. I'm going to finish up the leather real quick, and then I'm going to bounce for the day. I'll be out. I'm not doing lunch today because my team is we're doing our Eberron Adventure today instead of Wednesday. So I will be. I'm going to be doing 2024. Color mana and martial power stuff starting at lunch tomorrow. Thursday night, we're going to be doing Cypher System game with Wally DM, How to RPG, Fred Wheeler. Ket Up is going to be our game master. This is a beard issue over here. Hold on. Yeah. So we'll be playing some Cypher on Thursday night, and then Thursday afternoon, like 8 o'clock Eastern time. Once we finish that, I'll jump back on my own stream and continue working on the 2024 conversion. So basically, in the evening, the only time I'm going to be working on the MTG, color mana, all that stuff, all the systems I built, all the revisions I'm going to do is going to be on my quote unquote personal time. My own design time, which is typically Tuesday lunch, Friday lunch, Monday night, Friday night, and then Saturday morning. Those are the 5 times I have for personal projects. Monday through Friday in the morning like this, plus all my downtime off screen is spent pushing the Eberron project forward. And so as we continue through, I'm going to make this this here leather. This here, we'll end up making this like silver or something probably. We'll go hunt for more metallic and mineral, like metal effects and stuff like that on another illustration. Duster, let's fill that in. And then back to leather. But this will form a good foundation for us. So far, so good. All right, so it is 7:52 here in Seattle. I'm going to go ahead and cut stream for now. Like I said, I'll be back tomorrow morning to work on this some more. I won't be at lunch today. I'll be playing D&D instead. But tomorrow morning, we'll be back working on this, and I'll be back at lunch tomorrow where we're going to start diving into 5e24 to mess around. I think we'll probably mess, I don't know, maybe a lunch stream will I think the easiest to convert is going to be the Point Warlocks. We don't actually have any confirmation that Wizards is going to keep Point ideas at all in the DMG for 2024. We won't know that until, November? So I'm probably just going to go ahead and rebuild the Point Warlocks without the 2014 DMG material. Hey, later on, my guy. But so we have Arcane. So we have Warlocks. We have Knights and Tricksters. We have the Universal Spell. Maybe that's the one I need to fix. Universal Spell Points first to see if we actually need to make any changes at all on that one. And then we have the core mechanics. We're going to integrate the revised color mana spell list into the core mechanics book, so that gets altered. We've been working on Spell Point Sorcerers. The last time we did that was on Saturday. You can check that stream out to see where that is going. I've play tested that personally from level 1 to 5 so far, and it's going great. And then Martial Powers. Spelljammer, I might work on Spelljammer on Thursday because there's some grappling rules, and we also need to update the D20 language. Yeah, we got stuff to do, but it'll be easy to get it done. So anyway, that's it for now, guys. Thanks a lot. Raz, thanks for hanging out with Saz. Thanks for hanging out with me. And anyone else that's new, like, subscribe, bell icon. If you want to support me, you can throw a buck at me on Patreon. Join my Discord for free on the About page of my Patreon. I'm one sale away from Point Warlocks being a gold bestseller, so anyone that wants to throw $1 at that will help tip the scales. And that's it. I'll see you guys later. Cheers.